we just celebrated last year, whoever was with us, we celebrated Janmashtami on the 18th of August, which was a huge success. And this is season 2 of the Gita Course in PLH. The first season was before Janmashtami, that is before August this year. There will be 9 days, this is a 9 days workshop, so every Sunday we all come together for this workshop and around for 2 hours, 5 to 7. And this is the Damodar month, so we also offer some candles, but not here, but we will do it with pushp, that's with flowers. Today's speaker here for the Gita workshop is Her Grace Manjulal Gopi Dasi, also known as Dr. Menka. She is a physiotherapist by profession and she's into this profession for the last 20 years. She has been the Honorable Physiotherapist for Dr. K.R. Narayan, our President of India too. She has been extensively working with the children of Malaysia and Singapore. She has been into Krishna consciousness since her childhood and has been serving ISKCON through various programs online and offline. I would request Swati Mataji to Galul Manjulal. And we will chant 3 times and we'll welcome Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Pali Mataji, for so much love and honor that we get only amongst devotees of the Lord. And actually this is the real love that we yearn for. Coming with devotees, amongst devotees, and speaking about Lord Krishna. Yes. So welcome for today's session, and thank you very much for spending your Sunday. Yes, there are so many activities going on in PLH right now also. Otherwise also there are so many options outside in PLH also. We could have gone there, but consciously you have chosen to come here. So I'm very thankful to all of you. Of course, it's a wonderful team also that is here who serves every weekend. So we'll start with prayers, because these prayers help us understand what we have seen and what we have heard, and also helps us speak the right words at the right time. Those spoken by Krishna to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So let us chant Om 3 times.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. We'll do small kirtan. Kirtan is a way to connect to Krishna. So before we hear from Krishna, let's connect with him. So whenever we have to strike a conversation with someone, here of course, yes, here also it will be an interactive session, and you can stop me anytime in between and ask me whenever you have a doubt, or we can, of course, there's a lot of room for questions, and this is going to be an interactive session. So similarly, let's connect to Krishna, and then we'll start our session. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Yes, I always say this and whenever we start a session. And of course, I'm not a perfectionist sitting here and speaking to all of you. But yes, I'm just a practitioner. Since my childhood, whatever I have heard from my seniors and from my Guru Maharaj, from my senior devotees, I'm just trying to put it forward here. And of course, it's a discussion. So let us start. Yes, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, written by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we are really indebted to Srila Prabhupada. हम बहुत Srila Prabhupada के बहुत आभारी हैं जिन्होंने 70 साल की उम्र में जाके और विदेश में प्रचार किया. At the age of 70 years, he went to US and he preached Krishna consciousness. 70 साल की उम्र में हम कहाँ होंगे, मैं कहाँ होंगी, मुझे तो नहीं पता. अभी से ही started feeling that there's so much of work around, how to balance family, how to balance children, preaching. But yes, by Krishna's mercy, अभी तक तो सब ठीक है. But we cannot imagine कि 70 साल की उम्र में श्रील प्रभुपाद ने कैसे किया. Right? So I will do a mix of Hindi and English. Is that okay? Yeah. You understand Hindi a little bit?
Yeah,
A little bit, yes. Okay, so I'll be speaking in English also. Yes, today's session is root cause analysis of why do I suffer. हम क्यों दुखी होते हैं? कोई ऐसा है जो यहाँ कह सकता है मैं दुखी नहीं हूँ? कोई है? Anybody can say I'm not suffering? यहाँ कोई आप जानते हैं कि कोई सफर नहीं कर रहा है? कौन है जो दुखी नहीं है? कोई भी नहीं. यहाँ तो शरीर से दुखी है, यहाँ तो मन से दुखी है, कुछ नहीं तो पड़ोसी से दुखी है, नहीं तो बच्चे दुखी करते हैं, नहीं तो गाड़ी लेके जाते हैं तो पीछे कोई हॉर्न बजाता है उससे दुखी हो जाते. तो कुछ ना कुछ सबको क्लेश चलता ही रहता है. राइट? एवरीवन इज बॉदर्ड बाय समथिंग और द अदर इन लाइफ. राइट? और हमने लास्ट टाइम थोड़ा सा डिस्कस किया था कि हम खुश कैसे रह सकते हैं. हाउ कैन वन बी हैप्पी? तो व्हाट आर द 3 प्रोसेसेस दैट वी डिस्कस्ड? Yes, anybody can speak. Yes, we are very few today, but maybe more people will join us later. So, what are the 3 ways we can connect to the eternal and be happy? हमने एक कहा था कि हमारी physical needs हैं, खाना, पीना, सोना, ये सारी physical needs हैं, अन्य needs हैं, and those are fulfilled all the time. Our physical needs are fulfilled. Our emotional needs are also fulfilled up to a certain extent. कि यदि हम दुखी हैं तो हमारा फ्रेंड आके हमारे कोई बात करेंगे या किसी से बात कर ली थोड़े टाइम तक, एटलीस्ट वी फील हैप्पी. बट एक नीड है जो है स्पिरिचुअल नीड, आध्यात्मिक नीड. उससे कैसे हम पूरा करेंगे? राइट? कई लोगों को ये रियलाइज भी नहीं होता कि आध्यात्मिक नीड है भी, है ना. सो वी एब्सोल्युटली हैव एन आध्यात्मिक नीड, स्पिरिचुअल नीड. एंड हाउ डू वी इंक्वायर कि सिर्फ मैं यहाँ पर खाने, पीने, सोने और अपने आप को बचाने के लिए डेंजर से और फैमिली बढ़ाने के लिए इसी हेतु आए हैं, which is eating, sleeping, mating and defending. These are the 4 things that also animals do, right? Animals से यदि हमें एक human body मिला है, यदि हमें if we've got this human birth, what is the one thing that differentiates us from animals? Yes? Yes, to inquire about dharma, right? So we discussed this beautiful shloka, which is ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanam etat pashubhir naranam dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhir naranam. So if we don't inquire about who we are, what is our real dharma? Our real dharma is not Hindu, Muslim or Christian. What is our real dharma? The Sanatan dharma. That we are the servants of the Lord. Yes, and we are not masters of anything here. Everything belongs to the Lord. Because Lord is the, what is He? CEO. Lord is the CEO, right? Which are we trying to, gather from last time's session? Because Lord is the CEO here, controller, enjoyer and operator. 3 things. But because of our illusion, because of ये हमारे आगे एक पर्दा है, मानो एक पर्दा है, because of that we feel that we are the masters of everything, right? So we must connect to the real purpose of life, and that is what we are going to do here today. We are going to understand how and why we are suffering. कई लोग तो कहते हैं क्या सफरिंग, सब कुछ सेट है लाइफ में, मेड टाइम पे आ रही है, सैलरी टाइम पे आ रही है, बच्चे ठीक पढ़ रहे हैं, राइट? सो व्हाट इज द सफरिंग, राइट? सो वी आल्सो डिस्कस दैट देयर आर थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ difficulties or sufferings: आध्यात्मिक, आदि भौतिक and आदि दैविक, right? Then how can we connect? We can connect by hearing. If we hear about someone, right, and then we can actually understand what that person is. Here we are talking about the supreme person, who is Krishna, right? Next is chanting the holy names. Chanting the holy names is like the direct phone number of the Lord. For example, if I have to call Rupali Mataji, so I have to dial her number. I cannot just dial any random number and want to talk to Rupali Mataji. No, I'll never be able to do that. Similarly, if we want to connect to Krishna, यदि हमें भगवान से संपर्क करना है, तो फोन नंबर क्या है? हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे,
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे.
अच्छा, ये फोन नंबर किसने दिया? भाई श्री कृष्ण शरणम मम, कोई भी कुछ भी हम बोल सकते हैं, राइट? दैट आल्सो इज कृष्णस नेम्स. लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा ने हमें ये ब्रह्म वैवर्त पुराण में ये फोन नंबर दिया है. When नारद मुनि asked Lord ब्रह्मा कि कलयुग में कौन सा मंत्र जाप करना चाहिए, उन्होंने कहा यही मंत्र इति षोडशक नाम कलि कल्मष नाशनम. यही मंत्र है 16 अक्षर का, जो आपके कलयुग के सारे कल्मष का नाश करेगा. और सारे वेदों में ढूंढने के बाद भी हमें यही मिला है. सारे वेदों के बाद को ढूंढने के बाद भी हमें यही मंत्र मिला है. यस, बाकी अन्य सब नाम जब आप कर सकते हैं, लेकिन इसे मत भूलिए, राइट? सो वी रिक्वेस्ट कि ये जो कार्तिक का महीना है, दिस इज द मंथ ऑफ कार्तिक, एंड टू चांट दिस होली नेम इज utmost importance. You may try to wake up in Brahma Muhurat, which is 90 minutes before sunrise, and chant this mantra. Yes? And then we also saw कि हमने पहले चैप्टर में भी देखा था, क्या-क्या देखा था हमने उसमें, क्या-क्या how does the chapter begin? सबसे पहले भगवत गीता में कौन बोल रहा है?
धृतराष्ट्र.
Yes. What does he say? Yes. So he's asking Sanjaya. He's asking a question to Sanjaya, who is a disciple of Vyasadeva, right? And Sanjaya had these divine eyes by which he could sit in the palace and see what is happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he was asking Sanjay कि संजय क्या हुआ बताओ धर्म क्षेत्र कुरुक्षेत्र. So धृतराष्ट्र स्वयं ही confused है. He is very fearful. उसे पता है कि जो कुरुक्षेत्र है that is धर्म क्षेत्र, and he knows by virtue who are dharmic people, Pandavas or Kauravas. Who were the righteous people? Pandavas. And Dhritarashtra knew this very well, and he knew that his sons were not righteous at all. So still in his fear he is asking, right? He's asking. So look at the duplicity of Dhritarashtra, right? The hypocrisy of the Dhritarashtra, the duplicity. He is seeing, yes, they have gone to the battlefield. What will happen? Isn't it obvious? Battlefield में जंग लड़ने जा रहे हैं, तो जंग ही लड़ेंगे, इसमें पूछने का क्या सवाल है, right? लेकिन he is doing it out of his fear, right? And then we also saw that सब शंखनाद हो गए थे. Both the sides, from the Kauravas and Pandavas, the conch shells were blown. And at that time, it is said that when the Kauravas blew the conch shell, nothing happened to the Pandavas. But when Pandavas blew the conch shell, when Krishna blew the Panchajanya, and all the Pandavas blew their respective conch shells, Kauravas के मन में एक कंपकपी सी उठ गई. क्यों? It was so loud, and because it was being blown by the righteous people. Again, this thing comes, right? So उसी वक्त दुर्योधन जो है अपने गुरु के पास जाते हैं, द्रोणाचार्य के पास जाते हैं, और उसके पास सब कुछ है. कैसे हमने देखा कि उसके पास सब कुछ है, इतनी बड़ी सेना है, 11 अक्षौणी की कृष्ण की सेना है. He has all the strength, he has all the seniors, he had all the expertise on his side. But what was missing? What did we discuss? What was missing on Duryodhan's side?
Krishna.
Krishna, who is the epitome of dharma, who signifies dharma, and that is why he failed, right? So now next we go, we see that yes, that is the perfect solution. The key ingredient for Dhritarashtra was also, yes, that dharma was not on his side, and that is why he failed. Right? Now, let us see what is going to be the structure of chapter 2. Right? So we are going to speak about these few things: Guru and God, identity, and what are the two duties. What are our two duties? So Guru is the one who removes andhakar, who removes darkness. Gu plus Ru, remover of darkness. Gu is darkness. So that is Guru. And yes, what is our identity? Who are we? Who are we? Right? How do we say? Like if we go to our previous school time, you know, what do we say? Okay, show me your nose. Where is our nose? Yes, yes. Where is our hand? Can you show me your hands? Yes. And where is our head? Yes. So where am I? So are we the hand or the eyes or the head? No, right? So who are we? We are going to discuss this, right? Then what are our two duties? Our two duties are conditional duty and constitutional duty. Conditional duty means that we are bound by this, by our family, by PLH, by our community, and so many other things, right? So many, our office, organization, school, right? But our constitutional duty as a soul, क्या है? Right? वो भी आज हम देखेंगे. And who is Atmaram or a realized soul? Okay. अब हमें देखना है कि जब दोनों तरफ से both the teams were ready, then at that time Arjuna tells Krishna. Actually, Krishna wanted to narrate the Bhagavad Gita to us. You know, he wanted to tell us, he wanted to show the world what is Bhagavad Gita. That is why he put this confusion in Arjuna's mind. So Arjuna said, Senayor bhayor madhye ratham sthapayo me achyutah. That means इन्होंने क्या कहा? अर्जुन ने कहा कि मेरा रथ दोनों सेनाओं के बीच में ले चलो. हे पार्थसारथी. So he said, all right, मैं लेके चलता हूँ. And then what happened? What did he see? अर्जुन ने क्या देखा वहाँ पर? अर्जुन ने देखा कि उसके गुरु हैं वहाँ पर, उसके relatives हैं, उसके cousins हैं, उसके grandsons भी हैं वहाँ पे, right? From the Kauravas side. And then he started giving reasons. What reasons did Arjuna give? Yes, anybody remembers? For not fighting. He said, I am not going to fight. What reasons did Arjuna give? Yes, anybody remembers?
Relatives. All these family members, then all the
Sin.
Yeah.
Sin will overcome.
Yeah.
Yes, sin. They will get all the path.
Yes.
Yes, sin will overcome. What else? क्या और क्या बोला अर्जुन ने? कुछ याद है किसी वजह से? सुजाता माता जी? Yeah.
जो उनकी वाइफ्स है वो विडो हो जाएंगी.
Yes.
एंड जो उनसे संतान प्राप्ति होगी वो लाइक
Varnashanta.
वर्णशंकर
Yes,
होगी.
illegitimate children. So that those children will be, yes, illegitimate children. So ऐसे वर्ण संकर कहते हैं इसको. तो वर्ण संकर की मात्रा बहुत बढ़ जाएगी. Yes, the women will be unprotected. Right. And then what else? Yes, I think Tejaswini was raising her hand. Okay. Okay.
Even after winning, what I will get.
Yes, exactly. जब हम एक गाड़ी लेते हैं तो एक स्टेटस भी डालते हैं फेसबुक में या कहीं पे भी, so that we want people to see and also we enjoy our commodities with our relatives, right? तो उसे लगा था अगर मैं kingdom win भी कर लूँ तो मैं क्या पाऊँगा इससे, right? What else? Yes, these are few reasons that Arjuna. And do you think Arjuna was wrong? No, right? Arjuna was not wrong. Yes, Prabhu, do you have anything to say, any comments on this context? Was Arjuna wrong? What's your good name, sir? Yeah?
No, nothing.
Okay. So, Arjuna was not wrong, right? So, what does Krishna tell Arjuna? पहले तो smile किया, right? Now, Krishna left his Gandiva, he kept it aside and अपना सिर पकड़ के बैठ गए. And he said, I will not fight. Imagine it's a cricket match and both the teams are there. Toss is won by Pakistan. Virat Kohli says, I don't want to fight. I don't want to play the game. What will happen? Can you imagine? Yeah? So we can imagine, very well imagine. But then we cannot imagine here the scene where it is a world, it is a Mahabharat. It is a war of the extended India, as we say, Bharatvarsh. Earlier there wouldn't be, like America, Europe, Asia, ऐसे नहीं था. Earlier there was one world, right, which was extended India, which is Bharat, right? That was okay. So what is the reason? So now this is Arjuna's Vyatha. Now let us discuss why do we suffer. बताइए क्या-क्या reasons है? As you can see here. So ignorance. Why does one suffer because of ignorance? Yes? What are we ignorant? If a child comes and says, if a student says that मैं आज पढ़ाई नहीं करूँगा, मैं जब exam का दिन आएगा तब मैं पढ़ाई करूँगा, and then I will pass. Is it possible? Not possible. The child is ignorant, and at that time the parents have to come and hold them, nicely shake them up and say, what are you doing? Isn't it? Right? So that is because of our ignorance. Here, what ignorance we are talking about is that हम भूल गए हैं that we have a relationship with the Supreme. We are the soul and we have a relationship with the super soul. Right? We have forgotten that. हम भूल गए हैं कि हमारा एक रिश्ता है भगवान के साथ. Right? हम भूले भटके जीव हैं, इसीलिए इस भूमंडल में, यहाँ पृथ्वी पर हम खुशी ढूंढते हैं. कभी रिलेटिव्स में, कभी मूवीज में, कभी मॉल में और कभी अन्य चीजों में. Right? So, but are we happy doing that? क्या हम हमेशा खुश रह सकते हैं ये सारी चीजें करके? No. Right? क्यों? क्योंकि हमने last time discuss किया था कि whatever happiness we find in this world is BPL. Remember? Anybody remembers BPL? Yes, Sumit Prabhu, you remember BPL? You were there last time. Whatever happiness we have in this material world is B stands for, it has a beginning and an end. Right? Everything that we do, how many days can we be on vacation? How many days can we keep eating rasagulla or pizza or burger? Our body will give up. Then P stands for pain. Right? Every pleasure comes with a pain. Right? Everything. If we eat more, if we we get stomach upset. और दिवाली में जैसे बहुत मिठाई खाई, फिर शुगर चेक करने की बारी आ जाएगी. Right? So all this is there. It is buy one get one free. And L is limited. Our ability to enjoy this happiness is limited. Right? And all the happiness available also, affordability is also limited. So BPL hai. So that is why. Now, arrogance. Yes. अहंकार. हम सबके पास अलग अलग कारें हैं, लेकिन सबसे जो डेंजरस कार है वो है अहंकार. Right? This ego does not let us realize that we are servants of God. We want to be masters of everything. Right? This ego does not allow us to take a mentor or to listen to anybody. यहाँ किसी के आगे झुकने का chance नहीं देता है ये जो ego है, अहंकार है. Right? Okay. If it is difficult, somebody was saying that no, I just can't go down before my team. I just can't go down before my wife, and that just can't go down before my husband or my children. My point has to be right. Okay. If you cannot go down in front of a group of people, one person you should have where you should be speaking your heart out to. There has to be one mentor in life who corrects us. Right? Isn't it very, very important? Like how Krishna corrected Arjuna. How Arjuna before Bhagavad Gita and after Bhagavad Gita is completely different. Right? But still, we'll also see how to select a guru and what are the characteristics of a guru. Right? Then attachment. We have too much attachment to everything and anything. Right? पुरानी एक चद्दर होगी बचपन की, उससे भी अटैचमेंट है ना? होता है, राइट? We have this. Some people can't sleep without a particular pillow. Okay, for health reasons that is fine, but that is also one type of attachment. But and enviousness. What can be the example of enviousness? I also have a Mercedes. You also, my neighbor also has a Mercedes. I have it. Yes, that's fine. But why does he also have it? Right? There is a very thin line between jealousy and enviousness. Jealousy means he has something, but I don't have it. Why? Enviousness is I also have something, he also has something. So why does he have it? Because that is enviousness. So these are a few reasons why we suffer. Now yes, why is it important to have a guru? Right? So as we just discussed, that Arjuna also had a guru. He accepted. Before listening to the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was addressing Krishna as how? How was he addressing Krishna? Hey Sakha, hey Sakha Cheti, hey Madhusudana, hey Gopala. Right? He was addressing by his childhood names. And he knew he had killed some demons. Koi badi baat nahi. He is a powerful person. That much he knew. Right? But he did not know that Krishna was Bhagavan. Right? So, it is important for us to accept a guru. Why? Because the greatest impediment of growth is, I know everything. Right? When we also try to discuss Bhagavad Gita with somebody or some principles of Bhagavad Gita outside in our social gatherings, oh, मैंने बहुत साल पहले पढ़ी थी, यहाँ पर ही मुझे पता है. ठीक है, हमें भी कोई इतना नहीं पता, लेकिन so this ahankar never lets us hear the Bhagavad Gita. So by this process, this process is a purification process, and this process is a process of self-transformation. Right? There has to be a transformation of heart whenever we discuss the Bhagavad Gita. So it is in teaching that we learn. Not that I am the best teacher, no. Just that I want to increase my own knowledge. Because I have to present this, I will read more and more. And that is how I will also learn. And whatever I have heard from my seniors, my Gurudev, I will put it forward to all of you. And yes, what should be the mood of a disciple? What does the Bhagavad Gita say about this? Tad vidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So, pranipadena pariprashnena. Pariprashnena means, how should a disciple ask a question? The entire Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, they are in a question-answer form. Right? Arjuna is asking something, Krishna is answering. In Bhagavatam also, Parikshit Maharaj is asking something, Shukdev Goswami is answering. Right? So, all these questions, how are they asked? Pariprashnena, in a very humble way. Not to challenge the speaker. Why? Because the speaker himself, Krishna, and then for us, Srila Prabhupada, are realized souls. Tat jnaninas tattvadarshina. These are jnanis who have done tattvadarshan. So this is what a disciple is expected to ask a question in this way. This is what the Bhagavad Gita tells us. Right? Now, how can one actually find a guru, or how does a guru be? What is the characteristic of a guru? Right? Now a guru always first seeks to listen. Right? जैसे कोई आता है हमारे घर में, या जैसे बच्चा भी कोई आ रहा है, or anybody comes to us with a problem, एक लाइन बोली नहीं कि हम शुरू हो जाते हैं बोलना. Right? So one has to be very very patient and hear. पहले सुनिए, समझिए, फिर सुनाइए और समझाइए. Yes? Can we repeat this? पहले सुनिए, समझिए, फिर सुनाइए और समझाइए. Right? It is very important. Even in our last session, the season 1, all the crowd, they really said this aloud, and that really engrains in our minds. Right? It is very important कि पहले हम सुने कि प्रॉब्लम क्या है, फिर ही तो हम बता सकते हैं. right? So that is one important quality. That is why Krishna heard. कितनी सारी बातें अर्जुन ने तो बोली, right? कितनी सारी शास्त्र में से प्रमाण दिए और ये शास्त्र वो शास्त्र अर्थशास्त्र और विद्या सारी अस्त्र शस्त्र विद्या सबसे बताई. कृष्ण तो सुन ही रहे थे, केवल सुन रहे थे, right? उसके बाद क्या हुआ ये फिर उन्होंने फिर क्या बोला फिर? Then what did Krishna do? Krishna smiled after that, right? जब हम कहते हैं कि भगवत गीता कैसे शुरू होती है? धृतराष्ट्र उवाच, then संजय उवाच, और फिर क्या आता है? then अर्जुन उवाच, right? दुर्योधन उवाच, या so ये सारी चीजें सारे जो लोग बोल रहे हैं उनके नाम बोले गए. But now in chapter 2 Krishna starts to speak. कृष्ण स्वयं बोलेंगे तो क्या कहते हैं? कृष्ण उवाच नहीं, भगवान उवाच, राइट? श्री भगवान उवाच. क्यों? क्योंकि कृष्ण भगवान है, राइट? सो कहीं पे भी हम भगवत गीता में कृष्ण उवाच श्री कृष्ण उवाच नहीं पढ़ेंगे. The most authentic गीता प्रेस की भी है, yes, of course ये भगवत गीता as it is भी है, इसमें भी श्री भगवान उवाच है. बट सवाल ये है कि भगवान है भी कि नहीं, राइट? तो भगवान है इसका क्या प्रमाण है? What is the proof that God exists? So we have certain beautiful videos that I want to show to all of you. Yes, and before that we'll do a small quiz. Yes, ready for a quiz, everyone? Yes.
Yeah.
Let us chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to be a little more louder. Yes. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
बहुत अच्छी सी ठंडी हवा है, शीतल वायु है, कभी झोंका लग जाता है, कोई बात नहीं. कोई बात नहीं, हरि बोल. So who invented the telephone?
Graham Bell.
Yes, Alexander Graham Bell. Yes. Then who invented the telescope?
Galileo.
Yes, Haribol. Who said that? Yes, Haribol. You're teaching a small child, right? So it's fresh. Very nice, Diksha Mataji. Okay, who invented the steam engine?
Steve Hopkins. Steve Hopkins. James.
Yes, James Watt. Good, Haribol. Yes, James Watt. Then who invented the bulb?
Edison.
Thomas Edison. Yes. Wonderful. Then who told us about the solar system? Who invented the solar system? We are talking about inventions. Krishna. Yeah, but who believes this? है ना? कोई कहता है, कोई हमें कभी भी ज्योग्राफी बुक में पढ़ा है कि सोलर सिस्टम भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने इन्वेंट किया? Once Einstein had made a model of the solar system. हाँ, उन्होंने एक मॉडल बनाया था सोलर सिस्टम में. उन्होंने यहाँ पे अर्थ रखा था, जुपिटर, मर्क्यूरी, वीनस, नेपट्यून, प्लूटो, सैटर्न, ये सब रखे थे. And Einstein, we know कि वो तो साइंटिस्ट थे. He was a wonderful scientist. Now, one of his friends walks in his house. And this friend is an atheist. Einstein had made them understand a couple of times that yes, God exists, that everything God has made, but they would say, what is the proof? So Einstein made this model. And this friend had come inside and he said, wow, who made this, Einstein? So Einstein said, who made this? Who can make this? It already existed here in my room. So the friend said, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? किसी ने तो बनाया होगा ये मॉडल. Someone would have made this model, right? So then Einstein said, if you think that to make this model somebody is required, then the entire real solar system, don't you think there is a maker for that entire solar system? Then the friend understood, right? So that means creation implies creator. If there is creation, that means there is a creator. We see a beautiful painting, right? जब हम एक beautiful painting देखते हैं, हम कहते हैं कि अपने आप बन गई रातों रात, आ गई कहीं से उड़कर. No, right? But on the contrary, yes, Darwin's theory say that yes, we evolved from a monkey. No, 10 lakh years ago also also humans existed. Ramchandra ji was a human, right, in the Satya Treta Yuga. And how and that time also monkeys existed, right? How can we evolve from monkeys? And if we evolve from monkeys, why are there monkeys still existing, right? And the Big Bang Theory. What is the Big Bang Theory? Out of nowhere everything came up. Is that possible? Let us see more, right? So, yes, I'm going to show you a beautiful video of how, how this beautiful galaxy, how in God's creation, what beauty lies in God's creations. Isn't it so beautiful, the galaxy, different galaxies? I'm going to switch off the lights again. Yes, don't we see how beautiful the sky looks? So many gases, lights, stars. Yes? So, who has made this? Huh? So, is it that it came into existence and human body also came into existence just by matter or just by, some gases, right? So, let us see some more slides in this context. Sorry. Yes, law means a lawmaker, right? When we stand at traffic light, so at traffic light, we know that red means stop, green means go, orange means get ready. Somebody who says that I am driving and I didn't see the red light, or I didn't know that red light means stop. Somebody who says this, does it imply that he will not be punished by law? No, right? It doesn't mean that somebody who does not know what the law is will not be punished. They will be punished. Fine lagega, police wala pakdega. Right? Similarly, if we don't follow the laws of the lawmaker, whether we know it or whether we don't know it, there will be implications to it, right? And of course, design implies an intelligent designer. Just let's see what are the beautiful creations. Isn't it beautiful? Yes. Who has made all these? Are there many artists or there's one artist? Yeah. All these things make us think, right? That all these things do not come into existence on their own, right? These are some examples to show us that yes, there is a perfect, there is no जैसे कहते हैं खामी, कोई खामी नहीं है God की creation में. So does the sun? How does the sun rise every day and set every day? Does the sun say, "I will work from home today. I am not rising"? No. Will the wind say that I am not going to blow today? No. Everything is working perfectly well. The lawmaker is the controller also. Can we control the day and nights, the cycles of the seasons? We cannot. Yes. And let's see some more videos on this, on some yeah. Okay, at the microscopic level, yes, at the microscopic level is also, if we see, there are our brain cells, right? Our brain cells, our body cells, how each cell has a different function, right? And how, there is a different impact on water. There was a Japanese scientist who did this. There was a different impact on water when he played different music. Right? He played the rock and roll, he played soothing music, he played something else, and different patterns were being formed in water. And similarly, our body is made up of 70% of water. Right? So our body also has effects based on the sounds that we hear. And the best sound that creates harmony within us is the transcendental vibration, which is proven also of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And when we chant it together, it creates a deeper impact. Our acharyas also say, Kali Kalera Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. In Kali Yuga, Krishna, you can give him he can do some puzzles. So in Kali Yuga, the Krishna appears in the form of his holy names, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now let us see one more wonder of the lawmaker and the creator. Right, and that gives oxygen to the brain. Yes, aren't they really amazing? Yes, can you name somebody who has put these brain cells into our body? No scientist would have done that, right? So Prabhupada once, a scientist came to Prabhupada and he said, how do you say that there is a soul in the body, right? Well, how do you say? Prabhupada said, okay, there is no soul. We will give you 5 kilos of calcium, we'll give you 10 kilos of potassium, we'll give you some grams of oxygen and carbon dioxide, create a human body and put life in it. So our body is not only matter, it has something more than the matter, right? Now we also have heard of this wonderful, scientist, right? Fibonacci, right? We've heard of Fibonacci. Yes, who has heard of Fibonacci? Yes, there's a Fibonacci's formula also. And also, as we see, the fingerprints, right? No two people have the same fingerprints. कोई भी दो लोगों की fingerprint same होती है? Right? नहीं, right? It's not possible. कौन कर सकता है? कितने लोग हैं? There is no computer which can process so much. It's the supreme power. Yes. So we are हम यही discuss कर रहे हैं कि लोग कहते हैं कि भगवान नहीं है. तो यदि भगवान नहीं है तो इन सब चीजों को किसने रचा है? Right? So
1200 AD, a man named Leonard Pisano, better known as Fibonacci, discovered a sequence of numbers that created a very interesting pattern. The sequence begins with the numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and continues indefinitely. Each number is obtained by adding the last two digits together. A rectangle with a length and width of any two of the numbers of this sequence forms what is known as the golden rectangle, a perfect rectangle. A golden rectangle can be broken down into squares the size of the next Fibonacci numbers down and below. If we were to take a perfect or golden rectangle, break it down into smaller squares based on Fibonacci sequence, and divide each with an arc, the patterns begin to take shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral. The spiral in and of itself is insignificant. Its importance is revealed in where we find it. Take, for example, the sunflower. The display of its florets are in perfect spirals of 55, 34, and 21. The sequence of Fibonacci. The fruitlets of the pineapple create the same spiral based on the sequence. The pine cone does the same. As currents move through the ocean and the tide rolls onto the shore, the waves that bring in the tide curve into a spiral that can be mathematically diagrammed onto a plot at the points 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. Buds on trees, sand dollars, starfish, petals on flowers, and especially the nautilus shell are formed with this exact same blueprint. With each segment of growth, the nautilus adds to itself one more value on Fibonacci's scale. This blueprint can be seen around us on a small scale every day, but the greatest example of all is directly above our heads. At an average of 100,000 light years across, even the spiral of the galaxies above us are formed with the exact design that the tiny shell is formed. This sequence or blueprint appears to be the trademark of a designer, a proof of a creator, something left behind indicating the one who was there, a fingerprint. As we scan our universe from the tiny flower to the awe-inspiring galaxy, we see the fingerprint of God.
Yes. Isn't it amazing how we have not discovered things, invention to chhod dijiye. We have rediscovered that which was invented, made, created by the Supreme God. Yeah, and these are wonderful examples to show us in our daily lives also. Sunflower का example ले लिया, हमारे कान में जो internal ear है, the cochlear apparatus as we call it in our medical terms, that also has a wonderful pattern that goes on, right? So now the question is, how do we see God, right? If we said, okay, through these examples we said that God exists, but how do we see God? Now, so for that one has to follow a proper process, right? So, for example, when we were children, in physics we did a particular, experiment to find out what is the value of gravity, right? What is the value of gravity? Any science people here? Yes? Gravity equals to 9.78, yeah? And in chemistry also, we did certain experiments. Two chemicals mixed with each other, what do they form? So if we need a desired result, there has to be a proper process, right? So similarly in biology also, when we view under a microscope, we have to take the slide. For example, we used to take an onion slide, right? The skin of an onion, and we used to observe the pattern of cells and what is there in the cells. So if we have to know something, we have to follow a proper process. So what is the process of following? The process of knowing God then? That also has to be a proper process, isn't it? We cannot just whimsically pick up any book from the airport, from the mall, and just start reading it. A mentor is required, an authentic book is required, right? So let us see. Spirituality is also a science. As Prabhupada says, it is a science of self-realization, right? It is all science. There is no fiction in this. And whatever incidences that happen, those incidences are actually itihasa. They are not mythology. So, but then why are we suffering if God is there? So it reminds me of this beautiful story that somebody went to a barber's shop and they said that, okay, cut my hair. So the Baba started asking questions, how can you say God exists? And then there was a discussion between that man and the Baba. He said, if there is God, then why is there so much of suffering? So then he said, okay, there is suffering, but that is because of their own deeds. But the Baba could not understand. So he went out and he saw a man who was with long hair. So he immediately brought that person to the barber's shop and started saying, oh, look at this person. Seems like there are no barbers in town. How he is, so unkempt and long haired. So the barber said, why? I am here. So he said, if you are here, then he has to come to you to understand that yes, this is the person who can help me. Similarly, God exists. We have to approach the right mentor, right Guru. Srila Prabhupada is our mentor. He's written this beautiful purports in Bhagavad Gita. And if you read these purports, यदि हम read करेंगे तो हमें लगेगा कि जैसे Krishna is speaking to us, not Arjuna. Yeah? So that is what, yes. And Bhagavan means भगवान जिसमें 6 गुण हैं संपूर्ण तरह से. All strength, all fame, yes. What else? Can somebody read, please?
All well.
Yes.
all beauty, all renunciation.
Wonderful. So हम में कुछ है लेकिन सब कुछ नहीं है. क्या हम ये कहते हैं कि हम सारे जहान का धन हमारे स्टीव जॉब्स के पास है? नहीं. Right? अंबानीज के पास सारे जहान के हीरे जवाहरात है? नहीं. No. So they cannot be Bhagwan. So this is he is the supreme controller, supreme enjoyer and supreme owner. And the question comes then, who am I? मैं कौन हूँ? ये सोचने की, this is a time to think, right? Who am I? And where do I go after this life? इस जन्म के बाद कुछ जन्म है भी या नहीं है? Right? And this is another story that comes to my mind which says that एक बारी एक ईगल फ्लाई कर रहा था और उसने अपने अंडे जो हैं एक कौवे के नेस्ट में डाल दिए. तो जैसे वो कौवे के अंडे खुले तो चिक्स आई बाहर, चिक 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 करने लगी. और ये जो था ईगल का अंडा, उसने थोड़ा और टाइम लगाया. थोड़े और टाइम के बाद ईगलेट केम आउट. When the eaglet came out, it wanted to fly because it's an eagle's child, right? And these chickens wanted to be on the floor and दाना चुगना चाहते थे. So now there was an intelligent farmer who saw and he put this eaglet on the branch of a tree. And then he pushed him to fly. Once it fell, twice it fell, third time it flew. So we need an intelligent guru. And a living body undergoes 6 changes, whereas matter just depreciates. कोई भी चीज है आपके पास वो पुरानी होती है, but living being undergoes 6 changes. Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara, all these. Tatha, so which is birth, death, old age, disease, and depreciation and wearing out. So this is what it happens with the living beings. But birth, death हमारे कंप्यूटर के या टीवी के साथ तो नहीं होता, right? The computer is never born, right? So then it is the soul that makes living body alive. Okay, it is just the soul that makes the living body alive. Okay, let me just say. So I don't know what is the problem here, but we can go ahead and I can explain it to you. ओके, एक हम आपको एक स्टोरी बताएंगे कि हाउ कृष्ण सेज दैट हाउ हमारे अंदर एक सोल है और दैट इज लाइक अ बर्ड इन अ केज. एक लेडी थी, उसने शी बॉट अ बर्ड, a beautiful cage she bought, which was bedecked with lot of jewels and it was polished with gold. It was actually a gold cage. So she saw it in the shop. But the only condition was that cage should be taken with the bird, parrot inside. So she took it and she polished the cage and she nicely kept it. Every day she would polish and really take care of the cage. And the bird inside the cage would say, "Feed me, feed me." But that lady failed to feed the bird. So she called many of her friends, aristocratic friends, to have a look at this cage. So one of the child came in and it just pushed the table where the cage was kept. Cage fell and it broke. right? But the bird inside it was already dead because that lady never fed that bird, right? So inside, so we are always polishing the outer body. We are always taking care of the body by physical needs. Yes, आज ये करना है, आज हमारा blood test है, आज हमारा ये appointment है. Yes, while that is important, but if we forget to feed the bird inside, यदि हम उस पक्षी को अंदर नहीं feed करेंगे, which is our आत्मा, तो क्या होगा? वो एक दिन बिल्कुल सुन्न हो जाएगा, right? We have to feed the soul, and soul आत्मा की ठीक. So आत्मा की खुराक क्या है? भगवान से जुड़ना. जहाँ का वो अंश है, एक जब बच्चा पैदा होता है उसको वहां से खुराक मिलती है. यदि हमारा थंब कहे कि मैं शरीर से अलग होकर काम करना चाहूंगा, तो हम यदि कट कर देंगे तो क्या वो थंब किसी काम का रहेगा? नहीं, राइट? अगर कोई समुद्र की लहर कहे कि मैं तो बहुत पावरफुल हूँ, मैं समुद्र से अलग रहकर मैं ऊंचाइयों को पहुंचना चाहती हूँ, पॉसिबल है? नो, राइट? सो जब तक हम अपने सोर्स से जुड़े हैं, हमारा सोर्स क्या है? Our source is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. There are enough. We will do a session exclusively on Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. तो जब तक हम अपने सोर्स से जुड़े हैं, हमारा कुछ तो हमारा अस्तित्व है, right? Otherwise हम लोग बेकार हैं, right? And then reincarnation भी है. अब वीडियो है, मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी. यदि ये ऑन हो गया, हो रहा है? कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम है? ओके, देयर सम टेक्निक. दैट्स ओके माता जी, आप बैठिए, कोई नहीं. कहते हैं कि दूसरा जन्म किसने देखा है? सब कहते हैं ना कि नहीं, सब कुछ इधर ही है, खाओ पियो ऐश करो. Who has seen the next life? But there are so many doctors who have told us a story of reincarnation. जहाँ मैं भी मैक्स में काम करती थी दिल्ली में, वहाँ पे डॉक्टर अशोक सेठ थे. So that Dr. Ashok Seth he's a Padma Shri awardee, and I was a junior around 19 years back, and I was in his team. So he would tell us that जब वो procedure करते हैं, he's a cardiologist, intervention cardiologist. तो उन्होंने सबसे पहले इंडिया में काम किया था on putting stents in the heart and all. So he's gotten a Padma Shri award. So वो कहते थे कि पेशेंट्स आके कभी-कभी ऐसा होता था कि ऑपरेशन थिएटर पे टेबल पे पेशेंट है, और वो पेशेंट, we have lost the patient. You know, for a fraction of a second we have lost the patient, and that patient comes and tells us, that patient, and we give the defib. एक करंट होता है, डिफिब्रिलेटर होता है in ICUs, जो चेस्ट पे लगाने से the heart starts to pump again. But for a fraction of a second, or for say 10 seconds, the heart stops pumping, right? So they resurrect करते हैं उसको, heart को फिर से regain करते हैं using this defibrillator. So one of the patients, they came and told this doctor that I saw what you were doing to my body when I was lying on the table. डॉक्टर ने कहा ये कैसे हो सकता है? He said, मैं छत पे था और मैंने देखा, अभी वीडियो में ऐसे ही कुछ है लेकिन ये मैं अपनी एक्सपीरियंस बता रही हूँ, वर्किंग इन मैक्स इन दिल्ली. दैट पेशेंट सेड, मैं छत पे ऊपर था और मेरा ही शरीर नीचे था, और आप लोग सब बहुत कोशिश कर रहे थे कि मेरी बॉडी में जान फिर से कैसे लाई जाए. व्हाट इज दैट? वो छत पे कौन है? दैट इज द सोल व्हिच एग्जिस्ट्स, राइट? And definitely this soul also, there is another story of reincarnation. यानी एक शरीर छोड़ने के बाद दूसरे शरीर में यदि सोल जाता है तो पिछले जन्म की उनकी जो भी यादें हैं वो कई लोगों को याद आती हैं. आपने कहीं देखा होगा, राइट? यस, देखा है, राइट? It is not a new thing, isn't it? So there is definitely reincarnation. So reincarnation is there. तो वो reincarnation है तो वो क्या है? क्या जाता है? शरीर तो यहाँ जल गया, राइट? यदि हमारे बॉडी में सोल नहीं है, if our body does not have soul, then why do people say after death that he has passed away? The body is there, lying there, ये तो गुजर गए. कहाँ गुजर गए? Where has he passed away? Where has he gone? Right? So who has gone? The body is there. If we are the body, then the soul is. If we are the body, then who is all this? Who are we talking about here? So is it convincing? Is it convincing enough that yes, body and soul are different? Yes, Prabhu?
Yes.
Any comments? Anybody? Anybody would like to comment anything so far? Yes, what is your good name, sir? What's your name?
Pramod.
Pramod Prabhu. Okay. Anything you've been patiently hearing to me? Anything that you would like to say?
Nothing else.
So everybody is convinced that soul exists? Yes, and we are not this body, we are the soul actually? Yes, this is the first principle of Bhagavad Gita. जो actually second chapter में ही भगवत गीता खत्म हो जाती है. कृष्ण सब बता देते हैं. अर्जुन देखो, नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावक न चैन्यं क्लेशयन्ति अपो न शोष्यति मारुतः. Soul cannot be cut into pieces. Soul cannot be dried, it cannot be withered by wind, it cannot be moistened by water. तुम क्या किल कर रहे हो? तुम तो इनका शरीर किल कर रहे हो. Kill, that is your dharma. To establish dharma, kill. Then he says, देहिनो अस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारम यौवनम जरा, जो हमने अभी भी पढ़ा, वो भी सोल के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं. सब कुछ तो बता दिया है. But later on, from chapter 3 to 18, again Krishna describes various yogas. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga comes in the middle few chapters. Yes? Okay. कुछ तो आया था. There was a sound, right?
Yes.
Let us see. If only sound is working, then we will not do. Yeah, so these are real life examples of reincarnation, right? और भगवान ने हमें ये बताया है कि we are not this body, we are this soul. And why we are suffering? Because we have forgotten this identity that we belong to Krishna and we have to serve Krishna. And what are the reasons for our suffering? 4 reasons that we said.
Ignorance.
Ignorance, yes, ignorance that we belong to Krishna or we belong to the super soul. Yes, and what else?
Arrogance.
अहंकार, yes, बहुत सारी कारें हैं सबके पास, लेकिन अहंकार सबसे dangerous कार है, right? What else? Third point?
Attachment.
Attachment, Hari Bol! Wonderful. So are you attached to your things? Tejaswini? Do you think that you should share your tiffin or your compass box or your book with your friends?
Yes.
Yes, Hari Bol, she's a real devotee. And what else? What was the 4th point? Enviousness. Yes? Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. 4 things come. Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the 4 things that keep us in illusion, and these are the reasons of our suffering. Yes, and अब ये तो नहीं चल रहा है, लेकिन मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. So how to build faith? How to build faith in the Supreme? How can one actually build faith? Which is hopes. H-O-P-E-S. What does H stand for? Hearing. First and foremost, we have to hear about the Lord, which we all are doing here, right? When I am speaking, I am also hearing. It is actually more than what I am telling you. It is coming and bouncing in my head, right? And it reverberates in my head for a very long time. So that is why it is in teaching that we learn. So, so hearing. So let us remember hopes. How can we build faith? By hopes. First is hearing. Hearing about the Lord, hearing about Bhagavad Gita, attending these classes regularly. Yeah? कहते हैं ना मोदी जी, कुछ दिन तो बिताओ हमारे गीता कोर्स में, राइट? गुजरात में कहते हैं, बट वी humbly request you कुछ दिन तो बिताओ हमारे गीता कोर्स में, yes? So that we together go and move forward in this journey, right? together we move forward in this journey of Gita Course, right? And together we try to understand. It's not easy in one day. हम एक इंजीनियर डॉक्टर एक दिन में नहीं बने, 15 साल पढ़े हैं. इतना टाइम शायद भगवत गीता सीखने में या समझने में ना लगे, but at least 9 weeks if you can be with us, it will be a great honor for all of us. So hopes, how to build faith? Hopes, first is hearing, then O stands for observing. Observing those who are following the Bhagavad Gita, how they live their lives, how they are applying these principles sorry, of Bhagavad Gita in their lives. Yes, so how they are applying these principles of Bhagavad Gita in their lives. That is O stands for observing. P. Now P stands for practicing. Yes. After we have seen people around us, okay, जब हम morning में walk करने जाते हैं, me and my Prabhuji, my husband, sometimes from the morning aarti I am wearing sari and Prabhuji is wearing dhoti and kurta. You will not believe there be so many people who don't even know us to say Hare Krishna. So, how we practice? So we preach through our practice, isn't it? So that is one very, very important way of building faith. Come. Then E. So we heard about hopes. H. It stands for hearing. O stands for observing. P stands for practicing. Observing whom? All those who are practicing or applying the principles of Bhagavad Gita in their lives, right? And E stands for experiencing yourself. Once you are convinced that yes, सुबह उठकर ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में chanting करनी है, yes, every day 10 minutes भगवत गीता पढ़नी है, yes, every day भगवान को भोग लगाना है, yes, every day family के साथ मिलकर दामोदर अष्टकम करना है, right? That is practicing, right? So that is how we practice, and then we experience, right? We experience the bliss. Then we experience ki yes, it says no, family that prays together stays together, isn't it? Okay, and S stands for sharing. Yes, this is what we were talking about. Hopes, right? Which is hearing, observing, practicing, experiencing, and sharing. I just discussed one of our practice that we are practicing, Krishna consciousness since past few years, and how we go in the morning walk. I'm wearing sari, but my Prabhuji is wearing dhoti, and then everybody comes and says Hare Krishna. So at least people are chanting the name of the Lord. So this is what it is, and there was one video which I'd like to show you a little bit. Yes, a video on reincarnation. Yeah, this is a video.
In Germany, Christina's doctors are also losing their battle. Her heart will not restart. She has just minutes before her brain too shuts down.
Ist so ein Defibrillationsschock.
We were trying to jumpstart her heart with a defibrillator.
Um Schlafen zu bringen. Gleichzeitig
We gave her several drugs.
Medikamente. Der Patientin hatte zu viel
The
Blut.
patient had lost too much blood. Her organs weren't getting enough.
Kein Mensch und ich am wenigsten
We really didn't think we could save her.
sein können.
Because Christina's heart has stopped pumping, many would consider her dead. Yet something seems to be happening with her mind.
Nächste, was ich wieder weiß, ist, ja, dass ich wohl unter der
Next
Decke.
thing I know, I was hovering underneath the ceiling of the room. I could see down on myself laying on the operating table. And I saw the surgeons and heard them talking to each other. The scenario was pretty hectic. I realized that this was about life or death.
To help understand near-death experiences, some researchers focus on the content of these episodes.
A common element that occurs early in near-death experiences is what's called an out-of-body experience. At that time, the person seems to be able to see and hear things going on, but up from the vantage point above their body.
Yes, so this is near-death experience or out-of-body experience. Yeah, so who is watching? So that at least to a certain extent we are convinced that we are not this body, we are the soul. And when we think that we are this body and we want to enjoy, the suffering starts because of our lobha, moha, maya, matsarya, right? Mada matsarya, right? So we discussed all of that, and yes, we discussed this also. And so, to build our faith, there is some challenge for 5 weeks. Of course, the date is not too correct. Yeah. So this is from the last times. So at least, how many of us, at least now when we are convinced little bit that we are from a source which is supreme, and how we also discussed about the authenticity of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, can we take time out 15 minutes or 5 minutes every day to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Yes? How many of you, and also study Bhagavad Gita for 5 minutes? Yes? Offer lamp to Lord or to family kirtan, and offering water to Tulasi Maya, and then offering it to the Lord. Yeah? Is it difficult? Is it very difficult? No. It's a nice, easy challenge. How many of you would like to take it? We have to wrap up by 7, I just heard. Yes? Let us write their names, Prabhu, so that we have a record. Yes, Mitali Mataji is there. Neelam Mataji. Yes, Mataji, aapka kya naam hai?
Neeta.
Neeta Mataji. Okay. And who else? You do it?
Last 2 I do. First 2 is
last 2 you do. ठीक है? Ab challenge is the first 2 for you. Okay? Which you are not doing. Wow, wonderful. What's your name? Say okay. Say Hari Bol for him. Let's say Hari Bol for him.
Hari Bol.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, yes. Diksha Mataji is already doing. Yes. Sujata Mataji, how about you? Yes. Mataji is also doing. Yes. Wonderful. Prabhuji is also doing. Hari Bol. How about you? Sulakshana, no. Yes. Let us try. Yeah, half the time at least. Sumitra, yes. Hari Bol, Mataji ka naam. Neeta Mataji, yes.
I study every day.
Hari Bol, she's already doing part of it. Let's encourage each other by saying Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Yes, who else? Yes, Tejaswini is also doing. Sumit Prabhu, then yes, what's it? Bhavna Mataji, Neelam Mataji, Sumit Prabhu. Yes, Gitika. Yes, Gitika also. Yes, Padmaja Mataji is also doing. She is our old Sathi. Yes, Hari Bol. Ravindra Prabhu and Suman Mataji are also very, very regular. Yes, isn't it? Yes, Prabhu, how about you?
I do last 2.
Last 2. So now the challenge is first 2. Yes, Hari Bol. So, yes, Advik also is doing. Wonderful, wonderful. Let us do this so that we have this feeling of Sarve Sukhina Bhavantu. This is the only way to happiness. We have, of course, we have second part also coming to it. We will learn. And Satvik Bhojan, ye to bhul hi gaye hum. Without onion, garlic and mushrooms. Yeah. Why Satvik Bhojan? Because other bhojans with onion and garlic, they disturb our mind, make us lazy. And of course, it cannot be offered to the Lord. So we are eating only sin. In Bhagavad Gita 3.13, Krishna says, those who do not offer me what they ate are verily eating only sin. But dhire dhire. Let's go slow. That's all right. Even if once a day you can offer bhoga to the Lord, then have the prasadam, then it's fine. Okay, any questions so far? Today we conclude our session. Any questions from this session that we've done so far? Of course, all those who come late can see the recording. Yes? Yeah? Anybody has a question? Yes?
भागवतम और भगवत गीता में क्या फर्क है?
Oh, very nice question. What is the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? So Bhagavad Gita is that, it is a song of God. It is the one that Krishna spoke to Arjuna. So it is the Lord's instructions to his devotees. Right? And Bhagavatam was written by Srila Vyasadeva when Krishna wound up his activities on this earthly planet and he went to his abode. And only when Parikshit Maharaj he was cursed to be bitten by a takshak, a fire snake, within 7 days. Who is Parikshit Maharaj? Parikshit Maharaj is the grandson of Arjuna. Arjuna married Subhadra and they got a son named Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu married Uttara and Abhimanyu and Uttara's son is Parikshit Maharaj. Abhimanyu wo jo Chakravyuh mein phas gaya tha wo hai. Right? So, then Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a Brahmin's son, to cut a long story short, and he was going to die in 7 days. He was the emperor of the world. By then the Pandavas had gone to exile. They had left, sannyas le liya tha after the Mahabharata war. And Krishna had wound up his activities and he had gone back to his Goloka. And these are all the leelas of Krishna in different avataras. This Bhagavatam comes in 12 cantos, 12 volumes. It has 17 books. We are going to distribute soon in December. So we come to you. Yeah, that is the difference, yes. So anything else anybody wants to ask? So every day we are discussing this wonderful pastimes of the Lord, right? So today we are we've been doing every day Vrajamandal Parikrama in different places of Raja and Mathura, Vrindavan, Barsana, everywhere. So today we are in Kamyavan. Kamyavan is the place where Krishna used to herd his cows, right? And also Kamyavan Kama means desire. This is not that lusty desire or anything of this mundane world. This desire of the gopis to meet the Lord was fulfilled in Kamyavan. So that is why whoever goes to Kamyavan in the holy month of Kartik, whatever desire he has, spiritual desire, yes, even material, whatever desire he or she has is fulfilled in this manner. Yeah? And then we go to Surabhi Kund. Surabhi Kund, this is the place where Krishna used to take his cows to drink milk, or drink water. And then looking at the cows, वो गैया को देखते देखते अपने हाथ पीछे करके और गैया की तरह पानी पीते थे, ऐसे करते. So he used to do this. Krishna used to imitate the cows to make his cowherd friends laugh. Yeah, and then of course he had different pastimes. Now this is a pastime. In Kamyavan also has these very steep rocks. It is called Fisalni Shila. How many of you do sliding? Yes, Hari Bol. So, जो Krishna and Balram भी slide करते थे. So, this is called the Fisalni Shila, and many of our gurus and devotees of ISKCON, when they go to Kamyavan, there is Fisalni Shila, जहाँ पे वो ये actually करते हैं. क्योंकि ये छूने से ये एक्टिविटी करने से ही मन तृप्त हो जाता है, अलग सी फीलिंग आती है. These are all transcendental pastimes of the Lord. और एक है व्योमासुर गुफा. व्योमासुर एक फ्रेंड के रूप में आया था और कृष्ण और बलराम एक दिन चोर पुलिस खेल रहे थे. जो वो चोर पुलिस खेल रहे थे तब उन्होंने देखा कि कृष्ण ने देखा कि एक जो है उनके पास जो एक फ्रेंड था वो सारे उसके फ्रेंड्स को उड़ा के लेके जाके गुफा में छोड़ आ रहा था. कृष्ण को तुरंत पता चल गया कि ये व्योमा है. सो व्योमा मीन्स केव. सो ये व्योमा है, व्योमा असुर है जो इसके फ्रेंड्स को चुरा के ले रहा है. तो कृष्ण खुद गए और आकाश में व्योमासुर और कृष्ण की फाइट हुई बहुत थी. तो यहाँ पर सारे जो बंदी थे इनके फ्रेंड्स, उनको कृष्ण इसको डीमन को मारकर और कृष्ण अपने फ्रेंड्स को बाहर ले आए. तो खेल में सारे तो जो काउहर्ड बॉयज थे वो तो कैप्चर हो गए, किडनैप हो गए, लेकिन कृष्ण को पता था कि क्या हो रहा है. राइट? इसीलिए कृष्ण जो है उन्हें पता है हमारे दिल में क्या है. सो दैट इज हाउ ही ऑलवेज. सो यहाँ पर डिवोटीज जाके और इस गुफा में कीर्तन करते हैं, एज यू सी हियर. यस. और ये है भोजन स्थली. यहाँ पे कृष्ण और बलराम स्वयं जब गायें चराने जाते थे, कृष्ण और बलराम यहाँ पे बैठकर यहाँ पे भोजन करते थे। और अभी तक देखा जाता है कि यहाँ पे कटोरी के शेप के रॉक्स हैं, कई रॉक्स हैं जिनमें ऐसे गड्ढे बन गए हैं जहाँ कृष्ण और बलराम अपनी कटोरी रखकर और भोजन करते थे। Of course, श्री राधा मदन मोहन का टेम्पल भी पास है। श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय। We all pay our respectful obeisances। ये हम मानसी परिक्रमा कर रहे हैं। एक्चुअली आप सबकी परिक्रमा हो रही है वृंदावन की, व्रज की। और ये है दूसरा मंदिर है जहाँ है श्री राधा गोविंद देव की जय। Then there is also deity of वृंदा देवी, जो स्वयं वृंदावन की देवी है, तुलसी देवी है, काम्यवन में है। So आज हमने पढ़ा, हमने देखा काम्यवन की ग्लोरीज ऑफ काम्यवन। Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Let us quickly do some chanting.